what can Bonza try to do to keep Aiden behind as the intermediates, believe it or not. Yep, intermediates. As we have got 58 more minutes of this 1 hour endurance race with Bonza and P1 in the Audi R8 here. Let's go broadcast view with Aiden as he's moved down quite a few places. Don't know what happened to him, but that is cat under a tiny bit of pressure from Davis as he's a tiny bit sideways on the exit. It's a British driver against the Australian driver who is right behind him, who's gaining. It's under 1/10 of a second. What can he try to do? Can Davis try and make a move into turn one? No, he can't, as it is the intermediate speed heavyweights here, and the intermediate seems like a better tyre. Eugene is right behind Josh. Can Eugene try to even get past Josh? As it is quite a tight first sector of this racing track. Josh is letting Eugene pass as he does not have the grip to even keep the momentum in that Nissan GTR here. The Eugene in P2 now. Aiden is also catching up to Josh as well, as that's Eugene a kind of bit sideways. Oh, that's Josh back into P2 and Eugene off the track into P4, into P5, into P6, and here he comes back onto the track with Midnight in the Moser Racing Ferrari with the number 24 behind him, as it's Aiden in P3 with 9/10 between Josh and Aiden here. Bonza with a comfortable lead with 4 seconds on Josh, as that time goes down to 3.9 seconds, but it's went instantly back up to 4 seconds, as it's only 9/10 between P2 and P3. Josh and Aiden very close together. Josh really sideways as it hits the wall mid-corner there. That's it's quite an awkward place to hit the wall, but even in the wet it's quite an awkward place, as we see Tasha's Lexus spitting out flames in the heavy rain here in Japan. It's manufacturer's home race, Lexus and GTR with the Porsche with the German manufacturer behind. Josh is oh look there, guys. Bonza sliding all over the place in P1. As we see, Josh is under pressure from Cash. It's a battle for the final step on the podium, whilst the Lexus is sliding all over the place, with Bonza setting the fastest lap. Aiden's set an even faster lap of a 2:28.308. Then Midnight set a 2:27.987, which is an even faster lap in the 458 Italia here, with his wipers working quite hard so he can even see Eugene, who is sliding all over in front. They are both on heavy wet tyres, and Midnight sliding all over the place as well. Let's go broadcast view with Midnight to try watch the battle in the optimum camera. As we see, Midnight is only 4/10 behind Eugene here. What can the Ferrari do to try get past Eugene? Will he even try and make a switch back? No, but I think there was a tiny bit of contact between these two though, as Midnight is setting the fastest sector one once again. Cash is trying to gain on Josh, as Josh is now 1.5 seconds ahead of Cash, with Davis only 5/10 away from Cash. Cash is under pressure from Davis here, as water's being trucked up from the grass, and Josh is setting the fastest sector 2 here. What can he do to try gain on Aiden and Bonza? Bonza is still leading after 3 laps. They have got 34 minutes, 54 minutes of this race left, as it's Aiden in P2, Bonza P1 and Josh in P3 by the looks of it for now. Cash is only 1 second away from Josh, but Josh breaks quite late and Cash cannot gain as much time as he really wants on Josh as he's trying to find the grip, but P4 right behind her, but there is Davis on the heavyweights as it's lightly raining now, as the intermediates will come in handy right now compared to the wet tyres, where the wet tyres will not work as good as they once was for the first 3 laps of this race, as we see water's just been chucked around the spray. Is mental if you come off the line. There's Awesome who's spun around as there is a yellow flag in sector 2 where on the spoon of this circuit. As Josh is struggling for grip here, as Aiden is on the wet tyres, so Josh is trying to gain some time. He's gaining quite a lot of time really. He's gained 2/10 of a second in 1 corner on Aiden, as Aiden is finally starting to feel the after effects of these heavy wet tyres on the slowly drying track of Suzuka. As we see, Cash is also gaining on Josh ever so slightly, as it now went back up to just over a second, but Aiden is really struggling on these heavy wet tyres, as we see Aiden on the heavy wets with the tyre degradation is really showing with these heavy wets compared to the intermediates, as it's actually, to be fair, the track is drying quite fast. What, Josh? Yeah, Inters. As Aiden is really struggling, but Bonza is being gained on, as he must have had a tiny bit of a scary moment, or he must have not found grip. But Aiden is under more pressure from the Kiwi driver of Josh. Can Josh try break the Australian 1-2 for now and bring a Kiwi onto the second top step on the podium? As we see, he sets the fastest lap of a 2:12. That shows that the intermediates are definitely helping, as it went from 2:23 on lap 3 to 2:12. Aiden really finding it hard. The tyre degradation is higher, as his front right is going down faster on his front left. But in the sprint race, as we did the shorter track, it was the front left going down faster than the front right. But Josh is right behind Aiden, sliding all over the place, almost hitting Josh there, as that was really close between those two actually. Let's go on board with Cat now. What can Cat do in his Lexus to try again place for the podium in his Lexus, as he's just coming around the right-hander, about to come under the bridge anytime now. He has came under the bridge. Is that a car who's spun out? No, it's not. It's just a person making sounds. But I think that was Josh actually, to be fair. But Aiden is being reeled in by Cash ever so fast, as we see the Lexus is right behind the Mercedes. Let's go broadcast view with Cash now. What can Aiden do to try defend against the British driver, as he is only 2 tenths behind, now 1 tenth. I feel like there was a tiny bit of contact, but that's let Aiden gain 3 tenths of a second on Cash here. But Cash has the slipstream. Aiden is trying to find the wet patch on this circuit just so he can try gain as much time as possible and try keep his heavy wets not overheating as he touches the tyre into the grass a tiny bit. They're going quite wide on the exit. Cash is right behind him, but Cash has the main straight to try gain P3 as it is the battle for P3. Josh is 1.2 seconds ahead of Aiden, but Cash is only 3 tenths behind Aiden. What can Aiden do on the main straight? Will he pull out to the wet patch of the circuit? Will he try to defend into turn 1? Yes, he will go on to the wet patch of the circuit, and Cash does not need to, as it is alright for slick tyres, maybe, just about, as Eugene is into the pits. Don't know what tyres he's putting on for now, but Aiden is still in P3. Davis is also into the pits. As we see now, the track is really drying up with the sun is going down. Aiden trying to find the grip that he does not have with these groove tyres on the heavy wets here. As he sets a personal best of a 2:12.964. Josh sets a 2:11.033, setting the fastest lap of this race so far. That's Bonza, the leading driver, who goes off the track and he almost hits Josh. And Josh has seen Bonza and he's taken the advantage, and Bonza's now under all the pressure he has with Aiden right behind him, but Aiden is on the worst tyres as that's Cash forcing his way through as well, as it is 2-car wide between Cash and Aiden. What can Cash try to do around the outside? But Aiden is on the heavyweights. There might be contact between the British driver and the Australian, and I think there was, as Cash is slightly onto the grass there, or that might even be a driver error, but that is Aiden trying to force his way around the outside, and that's Cash in P3 now, chasing Bonza as Bonza went off the track a few corners ago. That's leaded Josh into P1, but Cash is in P3 by 9 tenths of a second. They are both on intermediate tyres, but Cash is on the worst intermediate tyres as his front right is more worn out than Bonza's. What can Bonza do to try let Cash not gain any time whatsoever? But he needs to gain on Josh ASAP, as we see the Audi R8 struggle through the sector 1. Josh is also coming in into the pits, so is Cash. Is Aiden as well? Yes, he is. Will Midnight come into the pits? For now, let's go broadcast view with Midnight until we see his choice, and he is coming into the pits. He just kind of struggled to get into the pits there, as he almost either had to go another lap on those wet tyres or hit the pit lane wall, which would have ended his race. As we see Josh now out in P2, 18 seconds behind Bonza. He is on the slick tyres though. Cash is also on the slick tyres, so is Aiden. All three of them are on the racing mediums, as we see Eugene also on the racing mediums as he hit on lap 5, going on to lap 6. Everyone is changing from the wet tyres, apart from, wow, there's quite a bold move from Seba to not change his tyres from the heavy wet tyres, as his tyres are starting to be even more worn out than he wants them, as the sun is going down. In Japan it is required racing mediums as such, and Davis is right behind Seba. I'd recommend, if you are slower, then you might want to let the car pass, especially if you're on the heavy wets on the dry track. I know it's quite sensible to let the faster car pass, as we see Bonza is also on the intermediate still. He's in P1. but Cash is in P3, Josh is in P2, Bonza, will he come into the pits this lap? Yes, he will, as the Audi R8's pit crew of Bonza is waiting for him with the fresh tyres. Will he put on, well, obviously he'll put on the slick tyres, but which ones, as he has two options for this race. Josh is back into P1, then there's Cash 2 seconds behind. What can Cash do? He can change his racing line, but he does not want to, as it is 12.3 seconds. As now we see Cash set the fastest sector one of this race by 1/10 of a second. As we see Josh in the GTR using the curb, which is it's not optimal to use the curbs this race, as the curb will be very wet, as most of the standing water is on the curbs. For the drivers, just try keep off the curbs, or if you really want to use the curbs on the wrist sliding out, then you use it. But it's up to the drivers really, as that is Josh being reeled in 18 minutes into this race. We have got 32 minutes. No, what am I on about? Fucking 42 minutes. What? Question mark. Josh, how long is left of this race? Alright, copy. As we've now got, as Josh is on at 0.8 of a second. Cash sets the fastest lap of a 2:04.541. That's a massive change from the 2:40 lap times and the 2:30s. As we see, Cash's first lap time was a 2:40, with all the chaos happening in lap 1 of the race, where most drivers had contact. But the Nissan GTR is trying to push Andy's off the track, as I did warn the drivers about the wet parts of the circuit, and I did mention the curves, as Josh uses the curves and almost slides off the circuit, as his car was half off the circuit, half on the circuit, as he rejoined in front of Cash still. As it was quite close between Cash and Josh to having contact. Aiden is on the racing mediums gaining on these two, battling in front here. Cash is right behind Josh by 0.2 of a second. Can he try and make a move around the outside, or will he even try and make a switch back? As it is the Kiwi driver against the British driver for P1 currently. As we've got the Australian driver who is behind these two by 1.5 seconds. Will it even be 2 car wide between these two as they reach 230 kilometres, both of them? Cash is in the slipstream, so he reached 230 kilometres first. As we see into the chicane, let's go on board view with Cash. As we see Josh in the Nissan GTR sliding his GTR on the exit here. as now we see Cash did not make the move into turn 1 or on the main straight, but Aiden is joining the battle for P1 as it is under a second from P3 to P1 here as Aiden in the Apex Mercedes, who is behind the Pepsi Frigo Lexus, as Cash has got a new livery on the Lexus as well, moving away from his old one. Now Josh, I think Josh also has a new livery on his Nissan GTR as Cash is off the circuit, as Aiden has readdressed. Cash is back into P2. Callum's left of the racetrack. Callum's left of the racetrack. Josh. Callum's left. Alright, spot it. As all of the teams have reported rain on their weather radar from the pit wall. Let's see if it does come onto the track, and let's see if it is heavy rain or light rain, as it could be absolutely anything. As we see no battle for P1 anymore, as Cash and Aiden had a tiny bit of contact. Cash seeming quite pissed off, as Davis is also off the circuit into the gravel facing the wrong way as he goes down the order. Eugene might overtake Davis, and he probably will overtake Davis. As Josh is only in P1 by 1.7 seconds. Josh is under half a second ahead of Cassie. What can Cash try to do? As Josh is now feeling the pressure from Cashy, as Josh kicks up the water, hitting Cashy's car. The wipers do not go off. As is it raining now? As the rain is going to hit the track any minute now. Let's see from my weather forecast. Oh yeah, it is red. No, it's not. That's previous actually. Never mind me. as Cash is right behind the Nissan GTR now. What can Cash try to do, as it is only 4 tenths between these two, but that gap is going down. Cash is also in the slipstream of Josh. Well, he was, now he's not, as he's trying to catch some clean air, but he is in the slipstream as Josh moves on to the racing line for the for the fast left-hander, as we see Nico going off the track and into, well, on the exit of turn 1 here, as it will be 2-car wide between Josh and Cash here. Over the line, Josh pulls into the slipstream of Cash. What can Cash try to do? The British v Kiwi. The Nissan GTR will hold on to P2 for now. Safety car, safety car, safety car, safety car, safety car. 100k an hour, safety car. Yep, copy that. Ooh, Midnight, Davis and Eugene are all into the pits. I wonder if Orson and all the rest are coming into the pits as well, as we see Nico is into the wall. He's got front splitter damage on the Genesis here. As Blossom is coming into the pits. Eugene is on the intermediates. Wow. Hayden, no overtaking. Who was ahead? Who was ahead? Whoever was ahead, let them past. Thank you. Hayden, if I see you overtake one more time, then it will be a 3-second penalty. You have to slow down for 3 seconds. Yep. For the whole lap, basically. As the rain is now coming onto the track. That's one reason why I called the safety car, because I noticed you two were battling past the entrance. Not one. Yep. No weaving either. Well, if you want, you can weave, but it's not recommended. As we have seen contact between Aiden and Bonza. Oh, Aiden span under the safety car. Not seen that in quite a while. Actually, no, I've not seen that at all. And in a racing series with the GTLADS, as not 80, 100. Thank you. Oh, there's a driver off the track, and that is Nico, who is off the track here. Oh, it's he's got in P11. Yep. It's P4. No overtaking on the safety car. Oh, there's a half a second penalty from Nico. Two people. Aiden, no overtaking, or it will be a 3-second penalty. Already told you. It's there is currently a yellow flag in that corner, as well as we have Nico spinning. It's because Nico is spinning around. And the green flags are waving once again for all of the drivers on this circuit, as that is midnight already. 2-car with Eugene in the 458V, the BMW with Cash in the slipstream of Eugene as well. Can the British driver try and make it 3-car wide? No, you won't, as it is quite a risky place to make it 3-car wide, but there is cars all over the circuit, and there's 3 cars off the track, and that is the top 3 that was on the podium. Now that is Josh into P1, Bonza P2, and that's Midnight in P3, who's just came back onto the track, as it is a battle for P1 though, between Bonza and Josh, and Midnight just about joins it on his heavy wet tyres, but the rain seems to be gone now after the safety car, so that is unlucky for the heavy wet tyre runners. But I'm not entirely sure if there will be more rain coming, as Japan is quite unpredictable for its weather, especially on this very wet evening of Japan, as we see Josh is in P1 still trying to find the grip on the exit, with Bonza finding more grip on the exit, might even make it 2-car wide, might even force his way around the outside to try and make a move, or will he try and make a switch back? Josh holds the really defensive line, but it is 2-car wide between Bonza and Josh here. Can the Nissan GTR try and defend? It's its home race, but there is contact between the two as well. Josh is up on the inside, which is the defensive line, but Bonza might be trying to make a switch back into this corner, but no, Midnight is also compromising Bonza at the same time, but Josh keeps P1 by 0.2 of a second. Bonza is in the slipstream of Josh is trying to defend for as long as possible, as it's almost into the left-hander, which is dangerous to be 2-car wide, as we have seen Fernando Alonso making the same move. Bonza has made the Fernando Alonso move around the outside. Josh is in P2 now by 0.8 of a second. Bonza has made a wonderful move for P1. What a move, overtake of the season. Josh is already into the pits. What tyres will he be coming on? It is quite an early pit stop for these two of Eugene and Josh, but that is Cash battling for P3 with Aiden here. Aiden has got into P3, Midnight is in P2, but Bonza is in P1 by 2.5 seconds. Josh He's just changing his tyres over now, but Davis is right behind Cash as well. As it is a close battle between Midnight and Aiden here, where he's almost contact. Josh is onto the racing softs, and Eugene is onto the racing softs as well. But here we go, Midnight is under pressure. He's on the heavy wet tyres, whilst Aiden is on the intermediate tyres. What can Midnight try to do, as Aiden wants it to go from the inside, trying to apply the pressure onto Midnight, but he cannot apply the pressure. As we see now, Midnight is off the track and Aiden goes into P2, Cash goes into P3, Midnight almost hits Davis here. Davis is in the contender for P2 currently, as it is under 9/10 of a second between P4 and P2, as it's probably now over a second. Cash is only 8/10 behind Aiden in the slipstream as well, which does help, but Aiden kicks up some dirty water, and that's Davis sliding. He's doing the Ollie Behrman crash. There's so many recreations in this Japanese race, as we now see Midnight in P4, Davis in P5, Josh in P6 battling with Awesome. Awesome is also on the racing soft. Eugene must have. Where is Eugene? Oh, he's in PM. Okay. As it is. As Cash is under pressure from Aiden, they are both on intermediate. Midnight comes into the pits. Davis, what will he do? He will also come into the pits. That leaves Josh to be in P3 and Awesome in P4. As it is also a battle for P1, we've seen these two have contact in the past laps. Ash has got the fastest lap still over 203.532. Midnight comes out on the racing mediums, just about ahead of Arthur. So does Davis. He also comes out on the mediums, as hopefully Aiden does not have contact with Cash, as he did coming into Spoons on that left Cash off the track midway through Spoons, which is sector 3, yes, sector 2/3, as we now see the Lexus trucking out flames with the two V8s battling away the Lexus and the Mercedes. Obviously the Mercedes has more power than the Lexus, but the Lexus is maintaining its pace 150 just before he has to brake around the final exit of Spoons, now going 200 k's an hour, both of them. Cash is the fastest driver currently out of any of these two. Is it a battle between Josh and Orphan still? No, not really, as it's not under a second, but that is Aiden going quite wide here. As will these two pit? Aiden and Cash will pit. Cash almost hits the pit lane wall. That'd end his race, but that leaves Josh and Awesome in P1 and 2. As we've now got 20 more minutes of this race. As Josh in the Mitsubishi chart is 9/10 ahead of Awesome. It is reasonably close between Cash and Aiden here, as they both pitted at the same time, but about this gap was was between them. What can the WeatherTech Mercedes try to try gain on the GTLADS Nissan GTR? Gosh, your headlights are kind of flickering as well. Kind of awesome, the contender. If you know, you know. Let's add that to the words. But awesome is only 6/10 behind Josh now. Let's go broadcast view with Josh, as it is 2/10 between them. They might make it 2-car wide, or will it be a punt draft? It will be 2-car wide, with Awesome chucking it up on the inside into turn one. The Mercedes trying to make a move on the Nissan GTI. He has to late brake. He has to go into the wet patch on the curb, and he has made a wonderful move for P1, as that is also Eugene in P3, right behind Josh, trying to apply the pressure onto the Nissan GTR. What can the BMW try to do? As that is Bonza also gaining on these three ahead, as it is only 4/10 between P2 and P1 here, but it is 7/10 between P3 and P1. As it might be 2-car wide once again with the tiny bit of contact, saying Josh trying to make a move, but the track is really dark now as it goes night time. This is quite a risky track to even go night time, as there is barely, well, there's lights, but they're not on for some reason. Oh, the rain is also on the track. It's Bonza P4, Bonza P4. But as we see, the worst combination of this race is on this circuit now. Eugene and Bonza go right off the track. As these drivers are trying to survive. It's not a racing game, it's a survival game now. With oh no, they've got the fast left-hander that they normally take at 150 miles an hour. They'll have to take it at probably 20, as we see 150 kilometres with Awesome, and Awesome's off the track. Josh is in P1 once again. It's a horrific lap, as Eugene is into the wall, almost being hit by Arthur, as Arthur is in the total Nissan GTR here, with the FIA sticker and all that. As this is chaotic, as we've only got 15 more minutes of this race, with the race is unfolding with the worst combination in the world, rain, and it's night time at Suzuka. What can these drivers try to do? They'll have to pull out the focus to the max level, as it's raining and it's night time at the exact same time, and the spray from these cars is immense for GT3, with Josh leading the race still in P1. As I say that, he slides almost into the grass there, as the commentator's curse might even be back, as I might not have to speak, as these drivers might need concentration. Davis has a 1-second penalty for track limits, even though he cannot help it. Davis, just because you cannot help. Yeah. Well, will. So as we see some different strategies for the final parts of this race. As we see, Josh is. Yep. Bonza's rapid in the rain as well. Oh shit, very much wood. As we see, Josh is only 2 seconds ahead. As we see, Josh's lead is fading away. Awesome has lost quite a lot of time on Bonza as well. As we've had quite a few retirements this race as well, as we've got Nico who has retired, and Siebert who's also retired. As the Audi R8 is gaining on Josh quite a lot here, which is not helping his race, as it's 8 tenths between these two now. Josh has put on the wrong set of tyres, which is not the best thing for him and his team. Don't think his team will be happy at all with Josh whatsoever. Josh is kind of struggling on the wet tyres. So what are you going to do about this, Josh? Because you're on the wrong set of tyres. I mean, you only have 10 more minutes left. Awesome. He's into the pits. Bonza makes a move around the outside once again. Bonza really loves these moves around the outside. See what's fucking the bullshit. Actually, yeah, let's check the weather radar. Let's check the weather radar. Oh. On mine, it shows that there will be no more of it. Oh, Bonza's off the circuit anyway, so is Josh. As maybe. Don't think he would. Josh is really pissed off with his with everything right now. He's done the wrong strategy, hasn't he? I'll keep on checking the weather radar, Josh. Don't worry. Yeah, Josh, I'm just currently checking, and I don't know. Yeah. Aiden's on the soft bit. He really wants to be real. Yeah. I may just keep on checking the weather radar because this kind of looks. Well, Josh, I am checking into the weather radar. Yep, there is rain, Josh. There is rain. As we've just checked the weather radar, and there is rain incoming with the intermediate tyres about to be in shock, as that's Josh just coming around the left-hander with Bonza sliding all over the place in the Audi R8. What can the Nissan GTR with the red glowing brakes do? As those brakes are really up to temperature, maybe even overheat, as Josh is also cooling down the brakes with the rain. As we'll see these lot who have pitted onto the racing softs, not having the news that they wanted from their race engineer, saying that there will be more rain incoming. Let's see on how close that rain is now, as this will be really entertaining for the crowd, as they've had to pull out their ponchos quite a lot this race. Might as well keep it on at this point, as the gap is opening. P1 and 2, Josh's wets are not looking the best either. Cash is almost out of fuel, as well as 5 more minutes of this race left. Aiden's left the race, that's Eugene in P8. There's only 8 more races left of this race. What can these lot do? Bonza's almost onto the marbles, which will not help him whatsoever. The track is a tiny bit wet, which is hurting Josh's tyres. And Cash is almost out of fuel, that's a top 3. That is having a tiny bit of a struggle, and Bonza is almost off the circuit. He's onto the AstroTurf, which has no grip whatsoever, especially after the rain. And Josh is seeking help with the rain that will be coming in anytime soon. It is a real gambling situation here. Might as well go to a casino at this point, with the amount of luck they are having. With Josh calling the rain, he sees the clouds in the distance. The rain is about to hit the track any moment now. As we see on the weather radar, are the wipers going to go on the Audi R8? We'll be watching. It is green. The wipers are on for the drivers on the Suzuka circuit. Now, what will they do with the Audi R8 and P1? But Josh is saying thank you to the weather for bringing in the rain that looks really heavy. As we see, the heavyweights will be coming in to the play now. It's green flags on the circuit, but for how long will those green flags be on there for? As Orson comes out of the pits on heavyweight tyres, being overtaken by Midnight's now in P4. But Bonza on the intermediate tyres, sliding all over the place, I think. Well, I've not seen on how fast he has to go around corners. He has to go 119 kilometres. Apart from Josh, he has to go 130 kilometres, which helps him even more. Gain as much time as possible on Bonza, as he is not gaining somehow. Yes, he is now. He's gained 1 whole second on Bonza, as Bonza is struggling on these intermediate tyres. What can Josh try to do? He's gambled on these heavyweight tyres. There is only 2 more minutes of this race. What can Josh do? He can try to gain as much time as possible in the Nissan GTI. It's chucking it down in Suzuka once again. It's happened for the 4th time this race. It's been raining a heck of a lot. The crowd has mostly went because of the rain, but there is still 300,000 people, and that's Bonza into the wall, and that's Josh in P1. Josh is screaming on his radio. He's in P1 for the final 2 minutes of this race. Josh has gambled his life away to win this race for the home race of his racing team. Here comes Josh, about to come around the final chicane, as he's only got 1 more minute of this race. It will be the final lap of this race for the Nissan GTR to be in P1, as his time bit louder is on the exit of the chicane. He's sliding all over the place. He's over the line now with a 222.818, as it's now the final lap 26 out of 26. It's the 59th minute out of the 1 hour endurance. What can Josh do? He can try to perform as much as possible on these heavyweights, but does he even have enough fuel? Does Cash even have enough fuel? As he's got barely any fuel left in that Lexus, as it's also the Lexus home race. What can he do? He's also on the intermediate, so is Bonza. This is not looking good. Will Awesome even get a podium this race? As Josh has gambled like a motherfucker. He's gambling like he does in a casino. There is no more words, but there is tons of battles going on now, as there is rain all over the circuit. It is very much heavy rain, as Josh is coming around the Sector 1 right-handers for the final time this race. He might even have his hands on the golden trophy. He's got his indicators on. He's absolute trying to show the crowd what he can do in this torrential rain. Bonza might even hang on for P2 here. Davis has finished the race in last in P7. Eugene has retired the BMW as well, but it is a battle for P5 here. Midnight in the torrential rain with arthritis right behind him in the heavyweight tyres, but there is not many heavyweight runners on this circuit. Josh is coming around Spoons for the final time, as we see now Josh handbraking his Nissan GTR around the corners.